So let me tell you this little story about what happened here, not too long ago, like in the town that I work.
Sorry, I've got this kind of musical sound, a bit like South Park, the song about South Park. I've kind of got that going in. In the town where I work.
Well, it is. It's like, Little Washington, Pennsylvania, right? Yeah. So this guy breaks into the subway that's like right across the street from the post office there. Breaks the glass, gets in, and tries to steal money out of the cash register. Well, when he finds out that the cash register is locked and he can't remove it, he steals 9 bags of potato chips from the subway.
Oh.
Okay. But that's not even the best part. He must have been drunk or high or something, and he was eating them, I guess. He left a potato chip trail across the street into the parking lot of the high school where he was sitting there eating them, and the cops caught up with him over there. Oh, God. And then I come to find out, he works at the post office. He drives a van line at the post office.
Oh, man.
How good is that? Oh, man.
It's kind of Batman villains from the past. That makes him like the bookworm.
No, or the idiot.
Did you see that old episode? The old Adam West Batman.
Oh, yeah, the bookworm.
Yeah, and he's got like that leather. It's meant to look like a leather bound book, but it's all God. PVC, and he's got that reading light. Whenever he reads something, he has to put the reading light on.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that.
There was some really crappy villains in that whole series.
Crappy villains. How about the Dark Knight Rises? How about that? Crappy villains.
Yeah.
When was the last time Bane sounded like Deckard Cain? Gotham, this is your reckoning.
I haven't seen it yet.
God, it's so awful. Oh, it's terrible.
But the rest of the movie?
I felt kind of indifferent about it when I came out of there, and on the way home, Lisa and I just kept on ragging on it because I think we know too much about Batman,
Yeah.
And then as the weekend kind of wore on, I kind of hated it by the time Sunday night rolled around,
Yeah.
Yeah, the shooting didn't help either.
No, well, that's never going to help, is it?
No, not at all. But, yeah, Batman pretty bad. Bane equals Deckard Cain. God, I can't even unhear that now.
Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of The Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Greetings, guys, gals, and guildies. Welcome to episode 78 of The Gamesmen. This is the show for the week of July the 30th, 2012. I am Steve Conger, also known as JSS Lyfeliek on basically every gaming service imaginable, and tonight I will be assuming the role of your host. And with me again is, you're not old. Trying to think of what you are. Anyway, it's Dan. It's Daniel Knappman. Hardly Dan. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Pretty good indeed.
Oh, man. Maybe I should say, it's Daniel Knappman. Hardly Dan. But anyway, Dan, we have tried to get together multiple times to record this.
Yeah, this is our, well, I guess you'd say third attempt at the show, isn't it? I mean, the first one we recorded, the second one, not everyone turned up.
The first one was 3 hours, and I go to look at the Skype recorder call files, 0 kilobytes.
Well, I hope this was recording, because I just realized that I haven't started
But anyway, we had Acid Bee on for 3 hours, and then
it was a good show.
Yeah, it was. We had a lot of fun, and man, it'll be the show that'll never be heard. You'll hear a version of it in this one, but it will not even be close to the same. So we're here. We're all about the business, business up front, party in the back. It's time to get this thing done. We're going to play RPG. We're going to do a few emails. That's what we got on the table. But Dan, I don't even want to waste any more time. I want to get right into RPG. And for those that don't know, RPG is a little game that we play in which there have been 3 questions crafted, 2 random encounters, and a boss battle. And then a role is assigned, and the person directed must play out the role to level up and, in turn, defeat the boss. So the gamesmen are here to play roles, and with that, Dan, you have random encounter number 1 for me.
Yeah, number 1 is, it's all about the old rumor of the Wii U specs. The latest report suggests some rather accurate specs that Nintendo was targeting with developers last year. Apparently Nintendo has kept the hardware consistent since then. The Wii U CPU runs at 3.4 GHz, that's 3 cores. There's 2 megabytes of L2 cache on one core and half a gig on the other 2 cores. 3 gigabytes of memory for dev kits, 1.5 gigs of memory for retail consoles. There's a custom AMD Wii U GPU with 32 megabytes embedded EDRAM and unified shader architecture. You are Lyfeliek and after a healthy dose of truth serum, how close will the final consumer spec of the Wii U be to the SDK?
Oh, okay. I am Lyfeliek. My body is ready. My body is ready. Okay. So I think you're going to see a few changes, and this is behind closed doors, and I trust Dan that you will not tell anybody any of this.
So I won't be putting this on a podcast, don't I?
Okay. So what you're kind of looking at here, and what developers have had for probably a year or maybe a little bit over at this point, is basically 2 Xbox 360s duct taped together. Okay? That's it. That's basically it. And that is perfectly fine for the first wave of the next generation of Nintendo games. You know, as with the Xbox 360, one of the competitors that shall not be named, even though I just named them, the first generation of games, I mean, look at Perfect Dark Zero. Not the best looking game in retrospect, right? But that was made on a dev kit that was probably a little bit less powerful than what the final consumer spec was. So, this is conjecture, but this is like everything we know. So apparently in character, you know, the final Wii U consumer product is going to have a Power 7 processor, Power PC processor. It should theoretically be 4 cores. It's going to be quad core instead of a tri-core. And I think that tri-core processor is just sort of a holdover, because the protocols, obviously, that quad-core is going to run anything that is developed on the tri-core, right? But, yeah, I honestly think that... I might have to step out of character here for a second. It's hard to say whether it's going to be 1.5 gigs or 2 gigs of memory. I don't know. I mean, I would think that I would go with 2 gigs, only because it's an even number. But you never know. And if you sell X amount of thousands of consoles, how much could you save by clipping 512 megs out of the memory?
Memory is pretty cheap at the moment.
Well, it is, but I mean, think about it. Let's say, how many PlayStation 3s are out there right now?
Going from a survey of this household, none.
Well, times however much it would have cost them to put an HDMI cable in each one of those boxes, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And I think the 3 gig for dev kits is going to be just basically for developers to not have to compile scripts and codes and things like that, you know, the things that really chew through memory at first, but then sort of, the kinks kind of get worked out as development progresses.
Yeah.
So a 1.5 gig could be possible. I would like to see 2, but with old hardware, 1.5 is probably kind of close, I think. I mean, it's at least a ballpark thing. But okay, I gotta get back in Reggie. But
I think you need a bit more truth serum.
Yeah.
And the
I know.
Gonna have to hit you with the stepping out of character cost.
I know. Reggie mode. I mean, here's the thing. It's going to be relatively close. We've kind of waited out as Nintendo. We're kind of trying to weather the storm, the final announcement of the spec information storm. Every day that goes by, these components get a little bit cheaper.
Yep.
So At this point for Nintendo, we're supposedly at the lowest we've been in a long, long time, and perhaps ever. But the Wii U is something to be excited about. So, as a company, we need to be careful, and we need to plot this out because, first off, as soon as we announce a price, the other companies are going to slash theirs. So, we're in a little bit of a precarious position, as it were.
Just thinking about the 1.52 gig memory, wouldn't that extra half a gig maybe help with the longevity of the console?
Well, I think it would, and I think that it would if it were all sort of allocatable memory the way the 360 is, which I wouldn't be surprised if it were, because every other part of the Wii U seems to mimic the Xbox 360, apparently. So 1.5 gigs and 2 gigs of RAM it's not too shabby for a retail console either way, I think.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: who's to say that longevity is the point of this console? Maybe it's not.
Yeah, it could be a stopgap for that.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I mean, when you think about it,
U plus
1.5 gigs is probably enough to have a solid gig, plus enough to run. If there's going to be voice chat, if there's going to be all this stuff, which we have no idea. I would assume that there is, but we don't know.
Okay, do you fancy some bonus XP?
Sure.
Okay, you're a member of Nintendo's R&D team. Now, this SDK looks a lot like a mutated 360. What is going to set the Wii U apart?
Okay, R&D. Okay. Man. Oh, I am R&D. I'm R&D. First off, the thing that's going to set Wii U apart is the tablet controller. That's the first thing. Tablet gaming, multi-screen gaming. We are going to give you sensory overload when it comes to, interactive entertainment, right? Second, this hardware is powerful enough to pull off a lot of the next-gen tricks without having the next-gen horsepower behind it. I mean, this thing is supposedly going to be able to... It's going to be able to have like 128-bit floating point HDR lighting, I think, which, really softens things. It makes the darks darker. It makes the brights brighter. And I'm almost positive right now, out of character, I think the 360 does 64-bit, I want to say, maybe. I'm not entirely positive. Don't quote me on that, but
sounds about right.
Yeah, it's probably close. The Wii U is going to do tessellation, which is sort of a big buzzword now in the DirectX 11 world. Tessellation sort of, in layman's terms, it takes the polygons and it can sit there and calculate and split the polygons into pieces, like into triangles for rendering. So, how when you see a lot of the, like the tessellation, the DX11 tessellation demo with the water and the waves and everything and how it can calculate all that stuff.
Basically, basic terms, make shit look nice.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much making things look nice. That's kind of what's going to happen here. I mean, we're going to be able to pull off, a lot of, like I said, the next gen tricks, and okay, maybe in places. I'm not going to really say this in public, but there's going to be places where we slim down the AI routines, we slim down some of the aspects of software that is sort of CPU or GPU intensive, but meanwhile fooling the human eye into thinking that this is a member of the class of whatever, like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I mean, it's going to be able to do just like the other guys. It's going to be able to do 720p. It's going to have it's going to have 4 times anti-aliasing at 720p. It's going to be able to do vanilla 1080p, without really any post-processing. That's how it's going to set itself apart. But the primary thing here is the games, the experiences. That's what you're going to get.
The Mario.
Yeah, it's the Nintendo experiences and third-party experiences, because we are dedicated to third parties apparently this time.
And Nintendo World or whatever it is.
No.
Now you're R&D. You're meant to be up for that.
Yes, Nintendo World. Nintendo World is the most amazing, innovative product that Wii U have ever seen out of Nintendo, and it's fantastic, and it will provide you and your family plenty of hours of entertainment.
Lots of social gaming. Sorry, I chuckled earlier. It's an aside. I might want to edit it out when you said get into Reggie mode. I half expected you to go, I like French food.
God, I should have.
Well, I guess that sounds to me like a level up.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, that was kind of rough a little bit, but I love that hardware stuff. Like I can't wait to find out what the actual like official final specs of the Wii U are.
It's the same, with you with hardware and with gaming. It's all about the numbers.
I know. It's funny. Like I hate numbers in real life. I really do. Like I hate math. If it wasn't for all the numbers, math would be awesome. But like in RPGs and like with hardware and like speeds and PCs and how fast, how loud, how bright, how, I love that crap.
No, I'm the same. When I was looking at my TV for the budget I had, I was like, right, what's the biggest contrast ratio I can get, the largest screen, the fastest refresh rate?
I know.
I was like, oh, that one's cheap. I'll get that.
All right, Dan, it's your turn for random encounter number 2 is titled Settlement. It's in the game.
EA Sports, they're all the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So, Electronic Arts has agreed to give up the exclusive rights to create games based on the NCAA and AFL licenses, and to pay $27 million to customers as part of a class action lawsuit settlement. The lawsuit alleged that EA had created a football game monopoly and used its position to edge out competing companies by adjusting prices downward and locking down exclusive licenses. When that competition disappeared, EA then raised the price of its games back to normal levels. You, sir, are a member of EA's public relations department. So, how exactly will consumers go about claiming their restitution?
Right, well, I'm just going to jack myself up with some lying git serum here. Well, you did say PR.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very simple. You send us a photograph of your game box, discs, and receipt. And depending on what console generation it's for, I think if it's the old Xbox, PS2, and that other one.
Should be the GameCube too, all right? I think, right?
Yeah, GameCube, yeah.
Would it have been? Yeah.
You'll get about $675 back, assuming you still have your original purchase receipt, box and disc, and we can read your email address and everything else. Then, after a lengthy process of talking to us, we will eventually give you some money. If you've got a current gen system, I think you're getting something like $2. Again, you'll still have to have all those proofs of receipt, and we'll have to have linked into the social side of our gaming, because we don't really want to give you any money whatsoever.
Let me just say this real quick, and I know this is going to sound crazy and anal. I had just sold a game on eBay, which I rarely ever do, and the guy sent me a message back when he got it. He said, "You still have the fucking receipt in here." I always do. I tuck the receipt in between the sleeve and the little disc part of the case, like every time.
Now, knowing you, it probably wasn't one of the EA Sports games that are...
No. But I do. It's weird, man. Every time I sell something, like I always get that message back. It's like, holy shit, man. Really? But, okay, so here's the thing. And now, out of character, let me ask you this. This is just a stupid slap on the wrist, isn't it?
Yeah, it means nothing, really. How many of these customers are they're gonna make the customers have to jump through hoops to prove they actually bought it? There's no other way of doing it fairly. Otherwise, I could just go and pick up, I could just pinch some boxes from somewhere, or print my own out and say, hey, here's a photo, give me some money. That's not going to happen. You're going to have proof of purchase, and who, apart from you, keeps the receipts for all their games? I know. I found a receipt the other day in my pocket, and it was, God knows what it was for, but I was like, I thought it was a £10 note. I was like, brilliant, I go to the bollocks. I'm not in the position where I have to, for my business or whatever, keep all my receipts to do my taxes at the end of the year. I don't live with anyone, so I don't have to like balance my books and justify my spending and have all my receipts to make sure. I always have a track in my mind of what I spent and how much money I've got, and if someone was to hack into my bank account, and I'd soon know about it.
I'd hope so.
Because good luck to you, because there's never any money in it. But, you know, I have the same amount of money coming in each month and the same outgoings each month, and that leaves me with enough to go to the pub once a week and possibly save up to buy a game. So
here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Is that possible that you could theoretically like find a place online that has a bunch of these old sports games for like $2?
Yeah, but...
And theoretically like make money? Like if you bought them in bulk?
As long as they had free postage. Because let's face it, the postage is what's going to make it cost more. I guess there's got to be some kind of cut-off date for when you bought those games.
Yeah.
So if the till receipt says you bought it a couple of days ago after this has been announced, then it's obviously going to be pre-owned. I think it's going to have to be receipt from a full-price title rather than second-hand or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Good luck to people who bought them on the internet.
So basically, 27 million, I would think, is probably just an estimate. I mean, they're probably going to have to pay next to nothing.
There will be people out there that evidently there are people out there that keep the receipts for all the games they buy and slip them into the. You're really weird, man.
I know.
But you know, there's going to be a hell of a lot of people that don't have the information to prove that they bought the game new, and B, there's going to be a hell of a lot of people who think, especially with the current gen consoles, they're going to think, well, I think it's $1.97, around that anyway. They're just going to think, screw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that works out at like £1.
Yeah, it's not even worth it.
£1.50 or something. It's just like, well, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what I could see would be for the people with current gen consoles that have maybe linked their game account to some sort of social media. I don't know if you can with those games. I don't play them, but like Facebook or something. Then perhaps EA could send them a discount for their next game.
Yeah, I mean a voucher or something would be pretty nice, you know.
Yeah. And maybe not a voucher for an EA game, just a voucher for your local big game chain store.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy any game.
Well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to give you a voucher for Origin, or they're going to give you a voucher for EA.com. That's what they're going to give you a voucher for. If that's
what they're going to do. But, the nice way would be a voucher for a store or for Amazon. Or for, you could pick where you wanted it for. But, that's not going to happen.
You know what else I do? There are times now that we have these eco cases, like I position the date that I bought that right in there, so if I open it up and I look, and then I can shame myself into playing something that I haven't finished.
You see, I've got all my games in a bookshelf, so they just sit there staring at me going, I'm just looking at this wall of games thinking, I haven't completed it, most of them. Some of them I look at them and think, I don't care, I haven't completed Afro Samurai.
Yeah, I know.
If I could get some money back for some of the EA titles up here, then that'd be great.
Alright, man, bonus XP.
Yeah.
You are Electronic Arts' John Riccatello. With the clear decision of this antitrust suit, how do you justify the exclusivity contained in the Madden and FIFA franchises?
It's quite simple, Steve. We're a trusted company. People like our products. As a result, they give us their money. We give them their products. We have this money. That enables us to buy the licenses. If we can pay more than another company, then, what's the point? That's competition. It's fine. If some other publisher wants to come and try to outbid us, then they're welcome to do it. But the fact is, they know that our games, they're unbeatable. We do some of the best sports games in the world. And if they were to come and do this, they'd have to create new engines and need developers, and it'd just be a pain, so they don't bother. We do it. It's what we're known for.
Yeah.
I can't see why it's a problem. No one has a go at McDonald's or Starbucks for putting so many restaurants on the high street.
Oh, it's a problem because it's like the mama bird, give me this NFL license, let me chew this up for you and regurgitate it into your mouth, baby bird. Look at me. Every year. Can I regurgitate this into your mouth every year?
Yeah, well, as long as the gamers are happy to buy the same thing but with different names, we're happy with it.
You're stupid. All right, Dan. That sounds to me like a level up.
Actually, I've got to say, at no point do the Gamesmen condone buying games that are reiterations of last year's version. And stop giving EA money so they stop making these goddamn sports games.
Yeah, amen. All right, that's 2 random encounters out of the way, and it's time for the boss battle.
I love it.
All right, Dan. Newsworthy quick hits for the boss battle, and you have one for me first.
Yeah.
Yes. OuYa.
Apparently, the Android OS-based leap of faith console, the OuYa, was outed in the form of a Kickstarter, in which supporters can actually pre-purchase one of the first 8,350 first-run consoles. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if they're all still available yet. The campaign has caught mainstream fire and has now exceeded $5 million, with an original goal of $950,000.
That's incredible. Jesus.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
You, Steve, are founder and CEO Julie Ehrman. With such a low financial barrier to entry, how do you plan to monetize OuYa?
How do I plan to monetize OuYa? Well, we have to monetize OuYa. OuYa has a like you said, an incredibly low financial barrier to entry, right? $99, supposedly.
Yeah, give or take.
Now that's for this. That's not to say that you're going to be able to, in the fall of next year, stroll into your local electronics store and say, I want an OuYa for $99. It's not going to happen. OuYa may be $149, $119, something like that.
If you fund it early, you can get it for $99.
Yes, if you fund it early, you get it for $99. And here's what we want. We've brought the genius of Yves Behar on board, who was he designed the one laptop per child, the little tiny kid's laptop, And actually, I don't know if anybody knows this, but he actually, I think he won an award or something for collaborating on some kind of high-end sex toy product line or something like that.
It's like the Cybian or however you pronounce it.
But here's the thing, we
actually, he strikes me more as a fleshlight guy.
Yeah, it's not high-end. That's low-end.
Yeah.
This is the thing. We're going to set up a front end on the store, like a storefront front end for the console, right? And what we want to do is to be able to have these separate versions of all of these games that you've played and that are already authorized on your Android marketplace. And we're going to get a kickback. Let's say you pay $2.99 for something, we get 49 cents. And that's another way for us to sort of build money, because I think our ultimate goal is first-party development.
Yeah.
We want to make the hardware. We want console exclusives. We want to become a sort of Nintendo-type company that has a stranglehold on properties that no one else can have. That's basically what we want to do. And let me just say here real quick as me that kind of bothers me. I honestly think that that's the way they're going to go as a separate marketplace. But by the same token, I think maybe that could be the potential Achilles heel of this, where if I have something authorized on my Google Play account, it'd be nice if I could just log into Google Play and get it on my OuYa. But the thing is, I got a funny feeling they're going to be separate executables that have higher texture depth. They're going, what I mean? They're going to look a lot better. They're going to be improved. They're going to have implemented controller support, and that's going to drive the cost up. They're going to be more expensive than what you're seeing on your phone. I think
we're already seeing that within the marketplace already, with the standard version, and then there's the HD version for
for iPads and stuff like that,
iPads
and
or
tablets,
Android tablets and stuff. So the precedent's already there for something like that.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. And it's going to sort of be a free-to-play model. And when I say free-to-play, I don't mean disingenuous free-to-play. Like we were saying, every game on this console is going to be free-to-play. God. There's going to be a light version of everything. You buy in if you want to, and if you want to, we're more than happy to accept your money. So, Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's how it works. And as Steve, just a sort of final thought. What happens when Tegra 4 comes out? And, like, is there going to be a hardware refresh, like, every 18 months or something?
Yeah.
Like, once the Tegra 4 or Tegra 3 gets, like, the Tegra 3 is getting cheap now.
Yeah.
So what happens? Is there another OuYa?
And are we going to get to the stage where it's like, oh, you've got OuYa 2.0?
Yeah.
I'm afraid you can't run this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
you've got to spend another $99 to get 2.5.
I know, 2.5. God, could you imagine?
Well, one of the things that Julie was saying was about the barrier to bedroom coders and things getting their games on the TV. And part of the idea behind the OuYa is that you're going to be able to make your own games, then I guess sell them through the OuYa marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're going to be taking a cut of each one of those sales.
Yeah.
The other thing, what's with the name?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I got a OuYa.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, I guess at one point people were talking about the Xbox, and like, well, that's a bit of a crap name, but it kind of fitted with DirectX and
yeah.
X.
Well, see that, and that's it. Yeah, there was the Xenon CPU and the Xenos GPU in the Xbox. Plus, the Xbox, the original one, and I'm pretty sure the Xbox 360 were all sort of based on DirectX.
Yeah, and the Xbox, the original one, had an X on the top of it.
So I mean,
I can't believe I'm going to pick up an OuYa and go, ooh, yeah.
Well, the O is supposed to stand for open. So, we'll see where that goes. I don't know. But it's supposed to run XBMC, and it's supposed to sort of be a streaming media hub and everything. But with me, I guess my sort of final little witty retort is, when I got an HTPC, what the hell do I need this thing for?
Well, yeah.
So.
One thing I'd think about possibly using it for would be, maybe in the bedroom for streaming media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's why I'm buying a Raspberry Pi.
There you go. There you go.
And that costs, what, $30?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, Dan. Next swing. I pass the sword to you. Recently, Sony had made filings to make a new iteration of its PlayStation 3 available for sale soon in Brazil. So one would surmise the same would hold true for the rest of the world. You are SCEA President Jack Tretton. 250 gig and 500 gig models of the supposed new super slim PS3 are a no-brainer. But what about the supposed internal 16 gigabyte flash memory model? What are you going to do with that?
Basically, this is going to be our cheapest iteration of the PS3, and we're hoping to, maybe get a few people that have thought, cost as a barrier for picking one up. The idea being, you can buy a cheap console, brand new PS3, all those classic games, and you can play the games on them. That's kind of it. We want a low entry for people to actually buy into Sony.
Well, you know what, Jack? Like, if you could really get the price down on this, it would be perfect for Daniel Knappman.
Yeah, it would. And you know what? One thing it'd be quite interested to read. Stepping out of Jack and talking to myself, because it's really weird talking about yourself in the third person.
That's great. Oh God, things are falling down around us.
I heard a supposed price point for it in the UK of £99.
I know. Can you imagine? $149 generally, like over here.
Yeah, I'd pick that up.
Oh man.
Assuming it's still got access for me to slap in a hard drive.
Yeah, that's the thing. But you know what? When you think about it, if you're really anal about it, 16 gigs, you can install one or two games.
Yeah, and just keep uninstalling and reinstalling.
Yeah. And the thing is, buy PlayStation Plus and upload all your saves. It's possible. But, Jack, so is this 16 gig flash memory model, has it been influential in part of what you're going to do with Gaikai?
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to talk about that at the moment. Okay, we're going to be really pushing Gaikai, and with a 16 gig model, we're hoping people will sign up to PSN Plus, save their games in the cloud, and they've got access to all these streaming games through their PSN. We see it as more than just a gaming machine. It's a home media center. You've got your Blu-ray player in there, you've got access to loads of different video services, there's a web browser. Been there for ages. We've done loads of work on it. It's a good low-cost machine. and we think it's going to sell really well.
What?
Especially in North Devon.
What bizarro world are we living in when Microsoft is adding in entertainment fucking extras and services, and Sony is adding gaming shit?
It's odd, isn't it? I mean,
wow. And did you see? I guess it's in the. It was like a little line of code or something that was in the. I guess the firmware 4.20, I think it was, that there was something instead of eject disk, it's like open tray or open disk or something like that. So there's a lot of assumption out there that this thing is going to be a pop top, sort of like the final iteration of the
George
PS2.
Foreman grill.
Yeah, it's going to look even more like it.
Yeah, I saw a mod with one of the old bulky PS3s.
Yeah, I miss mine.
And they made it into a kind of open top, and they'd actually put a little heating plate in there to cook food on.
I don't think you need to. The son of a bitch gets so hot anyway. God, at least mine
maybe
did.
Just to spread the heat out.
Yeah.
A little griddle pan. Okay, Steve, it's your turn. Let's have another swipe at this boss.
All right.
Apple have recently filed a patent for a controller that suspiciously resembles Sony's DualShock.
Oh, I saw this. This is insane.
Now, it was made public today, but it was filed in March. This patent lists various inputs and interactions between iPhones, iPods, Apple TVs, including something which is a schematic of a video game controller for the standalone media player or a video game system. You are Steve Jobs. Ghost. What is the intent behind the filing?
Oh God, I'm thinking that I'm picturing like Jacob Marley in my head with the hanky tied around my head.
Perhaps we should have gone for you are a psychic channeling Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
What is
What's the intent behind the filing? All right. It's a controller that's exactly like a DualShock 2, and it's going to be an Apple product, so you're going to pay $100 for it. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're saying that it's going to interact with iPhones and iPods and Apple TVs. Like, what you're going to see is this is going to sort of take the wind out of the sails of Microsoft Smart Glass and the Wii U, because I'm not going to say this in public, but I'm dead, so it doesn't matter. Touch controls suck. Okay. Nothing.
So your finger isn't the ultimate input device.
We've actually led a bunch of people astray for years and built a business on telling you that your finger is the ultimate input device. But buttons are 100% consistent, right? And plus, this way, you're going to be able to take your iPod, you're going to be able to plug this controller in, or you're going to be able to run it wireless like RFID or whatever, and interact with your machines. And I'm telling you right now, dude, I can picture, and this is just as me, I can picture little plastic clips that are going to clip onto that controller like the chat pad does for the PS3, for the DualShock, and it's going to come up and around, and it's going to clip in and have a little angular thing, where like an adjustable thing that you can put your iPod into, or your iPhone or whatever, and be able to play games with a controller you're holding in your hand with an adjustable screen. I'm telling you, I can see it now. I don't know why. I mean, to me, and out of character, I think this is more of not a response. This is the closed walled garden version of sort of like an OuYa thing.
For me, I think it's kind of a response to the increase in sales of Bluetooth controllers, so that people are buying to play games on their iPads, their Android tablets, and their phones. Are
people really buying those, though?
Sorry?
Are they really buying them?
Yeah, apparently so. There's an upsurge in devices being released, which would suggest that there's a market for them. Hell, I'm tempted to get one.
I guess. Maybe I'm just not in the Apple world. Maybe I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that gets me is that it's going to be tied to Apple devices.
Yeah.
It's bound to be. Whereas, I can pick up a on-live Bluetooth controller that works over Bluetooth and I think it's the 3 GHz wireless frequency.
Yeah.
That I can use on my phone if I had an Android or any tablet, PC, iPad, whatever. it'll work with them, and it's 30 quid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. I just don't get it. To me, I would rather see like a sort of split controller, and we've talked about this before. Actually, we talked about it on the show that shall never be heard.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a controller that's split, sort of like a DualShock, but in the middle all it has is adjustable rails, and you pull that thing to the side, you slide your phone down into it, you ratchet it tight, and you pretty much have a Wii U gamepad. Yeah,
and it'll be in landscape mode, and through Android devices, because some of them have got the charge point in different places, maybe they'll have to be a little wire, and then you could have battery packs within the controller that keep the phone charged so you can play for longer.
Style. You can actually play it book style, sort of like I used to hold I used to hold the DS sideways. So you can even plug your phone in that way, and this way it's adjustable, and all the contact wires are in through those little guide rails. But yeah, I don't know the intent behind the filing. I think it's just I don't know. It's Apple trying to cover all of their their walled garden bases. Like Apple has to have their own Apple thing of everything. So
now, Steve, Jobs.
Ghost.
In the quotes, Ghost. It says the standalone media player or a video game system. What's this video game system?
We are not interested in video game. I mean, they've said it for years, but I don't know. Okay, we may get into the market, we may not, but that is their, we're sort of future-proofing our patent.
Now, for people that have said that they're not into video games, it seems silly that they're producing a game controller.
It's true, and I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is simply nothing more than Apple getting tired of the the third-party action.
Yeah.
So why not make their own
licensing fees?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so why not make their own and make it official? And supposedly there's going to be near-field communication in it, so it'll have NFC built in. And that's the thing that's weird. That's the thing that makes me think about Wii U more than anything else is the NFC that they're trying to put in there, supposedly in the patent. So I don't know. That's kind of where I fall with that as Steve Jobs' apparition. So, all right, the killing blow. We're going to finish it up with something a little fun here, Dan. Two things are all the rage right now: zombies and crowdfunding. Who doesn't love zombies and crowdfunding? Assuming he can come up with the massive amount of funding necessary, Mark Siwak, I guess that's how you pronounce it, hopes to turn the abandoned and derelict areas of a Detroit city into what he calls Z-World, a theme park that literally puts you in the most realistic zombie apocalypse situation imaginable. With 30 days left to go, and actually it's probably a little bit less than that now, he has achieved $7,700 of funding with a goal of $145,000 on the crowdfunding site Indiegogo. You, Dan, are Nostradamus.
Oh, it's channeling more dead people.
Yeah, you're Nostradamus. So, Will Siwak, is he going to reach his goal?
I don't think he is.
It's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money, and he's not raised a huge amount. He might do. There are a lot of zombie fans out there. It seems like there's a lot of crowdsource fans out there that will back anything just to be part of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to waste your money.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. $145,000 doesn't seem like anything. It doesn't seem like a lot of money.
Not when you compare it with like the OuYa.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely insane. I mean, maybe it's a little bit easier because most of Detroit, like a lot of those areas, already have like burned automobiles like flipped over and shit everywhere. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I guess most of that money for the funding goal is actually for public liability insurance.
Oh my god.
Actually, there's a site in the UK, wish.co.uk/zombie-shopping-mall, or mal if you're English. And basically there's an abandoned shopping centre, and for £139 you get to go to this shopping centre and have an airsoft gun, and they shoot people pretending to be zombies.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's probably fun, but still it's kind of
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that really love airsoft. I prefer paintball because it's a lot easier to tell when you've hit someone. There's a paint splodge. Airsoft, you've just got someone going, there's a ricochet. No.
Well, especially when the people that are dressed as zombies like have to be like really padded so they don't look like super fat zombies.
Well, no, airsoft is, it's not that.
Isn't it pellets and stuff?
You get shot. Yeah, but they're not. It's not that fast. Yeah, it's not too bad. You got to wear some. I guess you've got to wear some facial protection to make sure you don't get shot in the eye.
I ain't doing that.
But
I ain't gonna be a zombie in that.
I used to be a paintball marshal, and
ain't gonna do that either.
And in the summer, I'd be running around in my shorts and my marshal top and a pair of boots because rugged terrain. You got to have some kind of heel support. And I was getting shot all the time. People think it's fun to shoot the marshals with paintball, and after a while, you don't really notice it so much.
Laser tag, man. Laser tag. Low impact. Laser tag.
Low impact, no impact.
No impact. There you go. Perfect. So he won't reach his goal, huh?
No, I don't think he will because it's not a video game. It's not a bit of technology. It's getting money. I guess he's going to use a similar model with airsoft.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe laser tag or something. But it's not exactly new. And I'd like to call a moratorium on several things. Zombies, werewolves, and vampires.
And crowdfunding.
I think we've had enough of all three of them, and maybe for like the next 5 years, just stop. Just leave it for a bit. Let us, find something else to do, and then bring them back. I'm saturated with.
How long till we shelve crowdfunding?
I don't think that's ever going to completely go away. I think at the moment with crowdfunding, because it's fairly new and people are all excited about it, we haven't reached its peak yet. But I don't know. It's a hard thing to really. 3 years?
Just wait till the first time when somebody pays for something and they don't receive the product. And that sounds to me like the boss is down. Man, dude. Like, I mean, with my wife being ill, it's been hard to kind of get caught up, but I just wanted to get caught up on a lot of stuff. And
do you feel the same way as I do with, zombies, werewolves, and vampires? I think
it depends on the source material, really.
Well, yeah, but we must be reaching saturation point soon.
I guess.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of saturation and maybe drowning yourself therein, we got an email from one person who shall be named in a moment, and it says, drinks potion of babblefish, +5 to town crier, +20% crazy sounding essence. It's starting off good already. The Steam summer sale's finally here. PC gamers everywhere rejoice and weep tears of joy. They also cry for the decimation their wallets will surely receive. With that said, I present a trio of questions to you, O mighty gamesmen. Alright, you ready, Dan? Ready?
Yeah, I guess we must point out that if you're listening to this, the Steam sale is now over.
Yeah, it is over. It is over. So he says, what games have you picked up? How many electronic pennies were sacrificed? This is my first Steam summer sale. I picked up Cave Story Plus, Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition, Audio Surf, and Terraria. I also picked up Indie Bundle #1 for a friend for a grand total of $25. Dan.
That's, well, you've got a cracking deal there with those games.
Yeah.
I have spent exactly no pennies.
Oh, man.
Because I have exactly no pennies. Every year, whenever there's a Steam sale, the winter sale or the summer sale, I'm always completely broke. I don't know why. It's just, I know they're coming.
Why didn't you give all those last gen NCAA games that you had laying around back to EA for $6.34 a piece? I never
stupidly bought them in the first place. I mean, I do have several feet of all my video games. Obviously, they're not stacked to. If I stack them so they will turn them 90 degrees so they're wide, it'll be even longer. But I guess I've got a good 8-9 feet of boxes.
Well,
every time I think, well, maybe one day I'll want to play
Don't trade. Don't trade, because you will. And then you'll buy it 6 times, like I bought Wind Waker 7 times or 8 times or whatever I bought it.
The other day we were talking about Condemned.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to play Condemned after talking about it. And it's one of the very few games it looks like I think I lent it to someone, actually, rather than traded it in. I may have traded it in. Oh, I wouldn't have traded it in. I enjoyed it too much. And it's not there on my shelf. And I'm just like, what? One day I might pick up Brink. And let's face it, I'm not going to get anything trade in for Brink.
No, no.
There were 2 games I'm considering that trading in, but the fact is, I'm not going to get anything for whatever the Spider-Man game is or for Brink. So I might as well keep them. It's going to cost me more in fuel to drive the 16 miles to the store, trade them in, and drive home.
Well, do you remember a little bit earlier, a couple minutes ago, when I had said that I sold a game on eBay, right?
Yeah, what game was that?
That was The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim for the PlayStation 3.
Yes, because you started playing that.
Mm-hmm. I sold it for $35 and free shipping, and I bought it for $30, half price on the Steam sale. On the PC, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for mods and everything else. And I was like 20 hours in, and that PlayStation 3 version, the performance is never going to be there.
No.
So
on the consoles, the 360 version did run better.
Yeah. I mean, so I just kind of cut my losses.
Yeah.
And just kind of
made $5.
Mm-hmm. And, and then I picked up, on almost half price, I think 40% off, which hopefully I'll be getting to here pretty soon, the season pass of Quantum Conundrum. Which looks super neat. I can't wait to get into it. So, but that, and then the other thing that I bought was, Dead Island.
Didn't you buy that previously?
Well, I did. Okay. I bought it on eBay, I think for all of us. And, and it ended up being an Eastern European copy, which is apparently frowned upon on Steam.
Even if you're in Europe.
Yeah. So yeah, I bought that, and, actually, Zeramwing and I bought a 4-pack, and, got one for you, Dan.
I was going to say, although I haven't spent any money on the Steam sale, doesn't mean to say I haven't received anything from the Steam sale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've been having problems with that.
Yeah. Well, I imagine to hear next week when we talk about, when we do games and stuff, because I think we're going to try to maybe start slimming things down a little bit, streamlining things, but yeah, I expect to totally get some time in with you.
But yeah, quickly answering the games I got from the Steam sale, even though I didn't buy them. I was given Cthulhu Saves the World, and Breath of Death 7.
Oh, sweet.
And obviously Dead Island 2. Dead Island, even, not Dead Island 2.
Yeah, which
probably
there
won't
is
be a Dead Island. No. Actually, it was rumored a while ago, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've got out of the Steam sale, which is,
Yeah, that's more than enough, though.
It's been good, and thank you to everyone that's bought me again.
So he goes on to say, and with said Steam sale, how has your dedication to Diablo fared? I see Rabid Scotsman hasn't been deterred. No, he's been on there constantly. Yeah. I think he's trying to make a pseudo career out of it. I think.
Yeah.
Even though the auction house is broken and should have never been included in the game. But I am still on Act 4, the beginning of Act 4. And, I wanted to get it done before the end of the month. Don't know if I will. It was one of my goals, but we shall see.
My dedication to Diablo has stayed exactly the same, being that I don't have a copy.
Yeah, I know. Well, he says, lastly, Runic and Valve have been real cagey and real coy about the release of Torchlight 2. Speculation on release date. They have said only summer, and yes, it's summer now. So I suspect that they may end this Steam sale with a bang. They ended up not. I knew, right away that Torchlight 2, there was no way they were releasing that during the Steam sale. No way.
I was kind of expecting it to come out, well, actually, the date of recording, tomorrow.
Yes.
But I haven't heard anything.
It's too soon for that to happen. It's too close.
Yeah.
We would have heard rumblings about it somewhere.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it has to becoming sometime soon within the next few weeks. I mean, I don't know. I would have thought it would have been here already. Plus, with all the displeasure with Diablo.
I mean,
I would have thought they would have dropped it sooner.
The answer, the most accurate answer we can come to is it'll be available when it's done.
Yeah, pretty much. And it seemed like it was done during the beta, but I mean, maybe there's some back-end stuff that I have no idea about.
I didn't go too deep into it, but it seemed fairly solid and worked really well.
Oh, he says, now that they've conveniently distracted everyone with the sale and shiny new games, why not toss TL2 in there? I know, I wish, but I who knows? I don't know. It's crazy. Did you see that Gamasutra article, that talked about what your dollars go for, and how you really affect your games when you buy during the Steam sale?
No, I didn't. I did see an article about how, Steam sales devalue gaming.
Yeah, and this was almost like exactly the opposite. Like Runic, they were talking about how Torchlight is like almost 3 years old, but the Steam promotions have helped the sales like to just keep rolling to this day. And I think it was even Team Meat Macmillan had said that, man, like once you hit the flash sale and you make it into the flash sale, it's insane. Like I think they were saying something like when you hit like a user sale, like a user voted sale, it's like 50%, and then like your sales increase like 5 to 1. But then once you hit that 75% off and your game is like $250 or something, it increases it like 60-fold or something like that. It's amazing.
Now, is it Steam that are taking the cut in revenue, or is that also passed on to the developers?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how that works.
I mean, I was just looking now. Orcs Must Die is 75% off. You can get that for £1.79.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
I mean, I'm sure they have people on the back end doing, negotiating with a lot of these, a lot of these companies, and there's probably a lot going into the Steam sale, which is probably why it took so long to come this year. But all right, so he finishes up. He says, "My time playing the role of crazy question asker today is over. All hail the Gamesmen. May achievements and trophies fall upon you like the blood of all your slain enemies. Love the show. Big Rob 029 GameEnthuse.com's resident crazy person." He says, "P.S. I think Tiny is the only one of the Game Enthuse crew who knows how to play Terraria. If you guys have any pointers or explanations, we'd love to hear them. Also, I feel the need to shout to the rooftops that Cave Story is pretty freaking awesome. My secret shame is that I've never played a Metroid-style game. This one is pretty damn good." I have Terraria, and actually Richard Webster, Big Bad Daddy, bought it for me, and we were supposed to get together a bunch of times to play it, and it just never happened.
Well, I've got it as well, so if any of you guys want to play it with me and I can give you some pointers in-game, hit me up. I'll happily take you through the beginning of it, give you an idea of what you're doing.
We had a tweet in from John Mowles, TPV John Mowles. He says, "I'm getting a 3DS XL. What games would you guys recommend?" And obviously he's over in Europe, so he's getting it like right now.
Yeah.
He may actually have it. "I've never played many Nintendo games, never even played Mario." Okay, so right off the bat.
Corrective glasses.
Yeah. No. Super Mario 3D Land. You gotta do it. New Super Mario Brothers 2, I think is it available the same time today over there? I think
I think so, yeah. I've got to go with Super Mario 3D Land. I played that last year.
It's incredible. So good.
It's fantastic. It's the first time I actually played on a 3DS.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I gotta say Mario Kart 7, just because it's Mario Kart and it's pretty freaking awesome. Also,
Ocarina of Time.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was gonna bring that one up next. Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda. And I think a big one that you're going to love, you're going to have to, you have to get that super huge Circle Pad Pro XL or whatever. Resident Evil Revelations is pretty neat. It's really good on there. It's like a full-fledged Resident Evil, old-style Resident Evil in your hand.
Yeah.
It's really good. It takes a lot of cues from early Resident Evil sort of survival horror. So, that's what I would go for. Avoid Pilot Wings. Rent Kid Icarus. And if you do rent it, go online and buy a cheapy thumb stylus, because your second analog has to be the touchscreen at the bottom. One of the ones that that cups onto your thumb, or the thumb strap from the original DS. Because otherwise, it's going to be so miserable that you're not even going to play it. And the flying parts are awesome. The ground combat sucks. So there you have it.
And
Bang.
if you've got Sky at home, in the UK at least, I believe there's a Sky Sports app which will allow you to watch football, soccer for our friends in the States in 3D and a load of other stuff.
Sweet. There you
streaming
go.
loads
Awesome.
of TV shows and stuff. So that was pretty cool when I tried it out last year.
All right, Dan, shout-outs. How about that?
It's a belated one to Danielle, Superstarless Thorpe, and Ryan, Kryptonians Truman, for their newborn son. Samuel, no gamer name yet, William Nicholas Truman. Congratulations to the pair of you. Look forward to having a new listener.
Yeah, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Another one is to, I forgot to mention earlier, Pete Red Dog for The Binding of Isaac. He picked that up for me in the Steam sale. I've been having a lot of fun playing that.
Neat.
And Common Troll, one of the listeners over at Iron Hammers, he bought me Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death 5.
Breath of Death 7?
I guess I've got to also... Oh, 7. Yeah, 7. Breath of Death 7. I've not played the previous 6.
Yeah, I don't know. Were there actually any?
I have no idea. I haven't played the 7 either. I also need to say thanks to Simon Sy Thornton and PlayStation Radio UK, because they gave Steve Guild Wars 2 beta key. Steve gave it to
which
me.
you got to take advantage of.
Yeah, I played a lot of that. I'll be talking about that in the next show. And shout out to our good old buddy DJ Leroy, because he had a spare key for Bastion and he offered it to me. I already had it, but
that's so good for free, though. Oh, that's awesome.
I paid for it, and it's money well spent. That game's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it, shame on you.
Yes.
How about you, Steve?
For me, Acid B, who, we tried to get on the show a couple of times and it just kind of didn't work out. So, we hope to get him on, sometime soon again. And same for me, Simon Thornton and PlayStation Radio UK, who are, the newest members of, VGHub.net, where you can find a load of great gaming content at VGHub.net. And also, and most importantly, everyone who sent well wishes regarding my wife's health, and that's kind of the reason why we haven't recorded in a while, because my wife's been ill and it's still not all settled yet. And I'm not liking the sort of the lack of confidence in diagnosis.
Yeah.
And so we might be moving on to bigger and better things with all that. So anyway, thank you to everyone who sent well wishes. So
best wishes.
Yeah, thanks.
On behalf of all our listeners as well.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but we're getting through it. So, Dan, wait for the week to come. Where can people find you?
Yes, pretty easy. Type in Hardlydan to just about any gaming service or whatever, and you'll probably come up with me, or I don't know. One of the internet laws is there's a porn version, so it might well be. You can't really get me on the 360 because I have let my gold subscription expire, and I can't actually see me renewing it for a bit. But yeah, Hardlydan, Twitter, actually not Facebook. That's a private thing. Yeah, Hardlydan. You can get me here. Hopefully, if in the future on Iron Hammers, if we ever get around to recording another show. That's about it. How can we get hold of you, Steve?
Oh, the old reliable. JSSLIFELIKE, pretty much everywhere. That's Steam, that's Skype, that's Xbox Live, that's PlayStation Network. That's all these places where I don't seem to be too much anymore. But I think my gold has now lapsed as well. And I don't really see myself doing too much with that either.
No. Maybe next generation might give it a go for a couple of months.
Yeah, you got a 16 gig PS3 to save up for anyway.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, that's about it. Dan, go ahead and take us out of here.
Yeah, well, if you haven't noticed, we've got a revamped site with forums.
Yeah.
So, check that out. It's looking good. Steve's done a lot of work there, and we appreciate your input on the forums.
Yeah, I still have tweaking to do yet, but basically it's functional. There's an actual live page. There's forums. You can click, all across the top. There's navigation across the top for all that stuff. So, I got some separate forums set up, and I think I'm the only one that's posted on there because we've never had them before, and people have no idea that we have them. But now, if you go on there, your actual WordPress account and your Gravatar and everything, if you make that account to actually leave a comment on the site, will actually be the same account. You only need one to log in to use the forums, because the forums are part of WordPress.
And it's actually really handy to set up that account, because most of the sites as part of VGHub use WordPress, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Not only does it
WordPress blogs
enable you to contact us, but everyone else as well. Well, not everyone else, but a whole load of gaming people. You can also get us on Facebook. Now, we've had a couple of new likes. Candice Lewis.
Yes. Yeah, who is Veronica Franco on Xbox Live.
Yeah. And Simon Thornton.
Yeah, Simon S.I. Thornton. Simon Cy Thornton on PSN, I'm pretty sure is what that is, of PlayStation Radio UK. So yeah, thanks guys.
That'd be great. It'd be fantastic if you've got a Facebook account. Just click that like button on our page.
Yeah. I promise we're going to post something on there pretty soon. As soon as we have a show to put up. Yeah.
You can get us on Stitcher, which is something I've never used. But, we're there. So, yeah.
I've used it a couple times. It's actually neat. I mean, it's sort of like an Og Vorbis thing where the quality drops just a little bit, but you can pretty much like stream it like Pandora on demand, the shows and stuff on your smartphone. Yeah, pretty neat.
Now, as ever, we the Gamesmen are participating in Extra Life, and we would really love you to sponsor us. I'm going for both weekends this year. The second weekend, I'm attempting to set the world record for continuous playing of Snuggle Truck. So if that's not worth some cash, I don't know what is. If you fancy sponsoring us, direct your web browser to extra-life.org/team/VGHub 2012. And
yeah, supposedly I got some pretty neat stuff coming. I have some things in the works.
Yeah.
To try to get everybody excited.
I've got some stuff to give away. I've got a T-shirt and some stickers and key rings and stuff from the guys over at Codemasters. A couple of vouchers for Insert Coins T-shirts. A couple of £10 vouchers. I think you can use them worldwide. It'll just give you an equivalent discount. So yeah, there's stuff in it. Not that there should be, but never mind. We also want some more voicemails. You can call the RPG hotline 412-267-RPG1. If you're outside the States, then, put a bit of cash into Skype and leave a message. It'd be good to hear from you.
Yes.
If that seems too costly, you can always email us at thegamesmanrpg@gmail.com.
Yeah, like Big Rob.
Yeah. And if an email seems too long, you can always tweet us in 140 characters or less at the Gamesmen RPG.
Yeah, like Mr. John Mouse. Yeah, there's so many avenues. Just let's get some stuff going here.
Because we're nothing without our listeners' feedback.
Yeah, I love the input.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Now, perhaps you're just listening to it on a podcast and you're thinking, I wish there was a way I could have another way of listening to the Gamesmen other than on Stitcher or whatever. Well, you can go to youtube.com/thegamesmanrpg and listen to us there. You can also check out some of our TGM tag-alongs where we give you the first 15 minutes of games so you can have a look before you buy them.
Yeah.
And please,
I want to put a Quantum Conundrum one up pretty soon.
Yeah, once you get that working, eh?
Yeah, I know. I'm just afraid, I don't want to restart it. I don't know if there's a load game thing. I never checked it. I know there's a continue game. I don't want to just completely erase my save game at this point. Yeah.
Now, if you listen to us on iTunes, we would really love a review or a rating on iTunes. If you don't listen to us on iTunes, then just make an account and give us a review. It'll be brilliant. We'll read it out and stuff like that. It'd be great.
Well, I think that's going to do it, Dan. Thank you for all that, and thanks for some fun RPG discussion. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. All right, folks. So that's it for episode 78. So on behalf of Daniel Knappman, Mr. Hardlydan, I am Lyfeliek. We're the Gamesmen, and until next time, we ask,
what role will you play?
not fully satisfied with this podcast, please return any portion for a full refund.
Gotham, this is your reckoning.